Maybe now the audio is working, right? Okay, I think it wasn't working a second ago. As I was saying, hello, people of YouTube. Welcome to the live stream. This is my first time using a more complex live stream setup with OBS software. It's going to allow me to reach out and show you guys a lot of things and not just talk to a window. Stacker, yeah, thanks everyone. Smash that like button, right? So those of you who are coming and watching this as a replay, you're able to go through and skip around in the video. You're not forced to listen to everything that we say. You can skip around, as I will have some guests joining me shortly. One of those guests is Henrik from Tech Drone Media, who's become a great friend of mine and does some amazing drone content, e-wheels, amongst other tutorials and unboxings, and just great information for everyone. So he'll be joining us shortly. Also, Ash from Droning On, who has a Osmo Action in his hands. So it's no speculation, no anything. This guy has had one for weeks, and he is joining us so that we can come to the conclusion with our thoughts. Is this thing worth replacing your GoPro? Or if you have a GoPro 7 or don't have a GoPro 7, which one should you buy? Definitely join into the chat. This is supposed to be something where I can reach out to you and come back and forth so that we can be interactive with each other. So without further ado, as Henrik always says, let's roll that intro. And it's just my luck, it's not working. Why is it? Oh, come on. Give me a second, guys. Oh, come on. Live video. Work. Is it rolling now? Okay. Boom, there it goes. All right, guys, we are back. It's so weird to me doing this because there's a delay. What I'm seeing here is live. I see Henrik, I see the videos live, and I look over here. I have an iPad set up with a chat, and it's got a huge delay on it. So it's sort of a mind trip. Anyways, over here to my side, this is Henrik from Tech Drone Media, and I'm so happy to have him on the show. Yeah, these are. I know you've had me on yours. You've been working with me for over a year. We've tried to get this set up where we're going to be able to go from my channel to your channel back and forth with OBS, and I think we might finally be on the step to doing that. Excellent, excellent. So here we can switch the window, and there's not a lot of room for the chat, but there it is right there. And thank you very much. I appreciate that on the intro. Yeah, it is, what, 8 p.m. where you're at? It's noon here in Colorado, which makes it 11 in California, and I think 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Florida. And I think it's 8 p.m. where you are, if I'm not mistaken. Uh-oh, they said they can't hear you for some reason. Oh, that's a bummer. Let me try to figure this out. Ah, okay, why can't they hear you? Henrik, you got some, we might have a little bit of trouble here. Let's see. All right. I hear you just fine. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I mean, I hear you, and in the chat room, this could be a killer before we even get started here. I am looking, guys, so just bear with me to see if I can get his audio worked. This is live. I love it. Anybody else in here use OBS? I am not seeing that. Ray Hollins, I do agree. So far, I've seen nothing about the Osmo Go trademark. Sean, that's great. That makes me want to replace my GoPro. We'll definitely be getting into that. I have a lot of stuff to show. We just got to try to fix Henrik's microphone. Henrik, I am not seeing anything that gives me an option to mute or unmute you. Let me... Yep. Let's see. Show windows with internet, show window shadows. No, it is not giving me that option. Let me try something else here. Oh, that takes you away. And that takes you away too. Okay, can anyone hear Henrik now? Dang. Yeah. So I'm still seeing no sound for Henrik. My goodness. Let me unplug this. So without headphones, I can still hear you?
Yeah.
Maybe they can hear you through my mic on my computer now.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it'll be a workaround for at least today.
There's like an echo here, so that's a fun thing.
What if you mute your screen so you're only hearing me in your headphones?
I haven't muted my screen.
Oh, you have, and you still hear the echo?
Yeah. No echo now.
Okay, guys, can you guys hear Henrik like this now that I've unplugged it? We should find out in just a second, and if so, we will continue. Okay, they can hear you now. So
great.
it is not the perfect workaround, but it will work for today. Sorry about that. Let's move forward here. Now, I know everybody is here because they're all interested in the Osmo Go, or I guess it's actually called the Osmo Action. I still think they should have called it the Osmo Go. That would have been brilliant.
Trademark of Jonas.
Yes. So now I'm quiet. They can hear you, but I'm quiet. So I'm going to just speak up. I don't know why that would make me quieter. So I'll just speak real loud, and we'll get this figured out one of these days. The problem with this is it's really hard to test these live streams when you've never done one like this before. That is so bizarre. They can hear you better than me now.
Okay.
So
I can hijack your show.
You take over for a minute, Henrik. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see. This, can you hear me better when it's just me like this? We can do Henrik just like this. Try talking now, Henrik.
Yes. Testing.
And then we have, let's see, can you guys hear us? Should they be able to hear us right now when the slideshows are going on?
I can try and go in here and see what's going on.
So what we have is, you're looking at the Osmo Action right now, and it's just a slideshow that's going to roll through. Okay, so if I speak louder, you guys can hear me. We're just sorry if you're watching this on the replay. You can skip ahead. We're going to get the bugs worked out so that this at least lets us get through this so that we can get to Ash on here and really have some hands-on with this. Now, let me let you guys know that I was up till 3 in the morning trying to get all this worked out and the bugs figured out, but there's nobody up at 3 in the morning to test everything with, so that's why we're having some issues. So hopefully if we continue doing this kind of stuff in the future, we will no longer have these issues. So just bear with us. I'm going to speak louder. Hopefully you'll hear it, I guess, without problems. And we'll go from there. So let's see. Let's put it back on. Oops, wrong one. All right, guys. So I assume by now everyone has seen this video. Let me start out with this. Where is it? Got to title these better. Here we go. Hopefully the audio works on this for you guys.
No, because it's delayed here. So now something is happening. There's a huge delay in you're doing a live stream.
Okay, I think I found it. I think I found the problem. I think I found the problem. That should have fixed it. I'm seeing bars move and I'm seeing stuff. Hopefully both of us are talking now. All right, so back to
we gotta prepare for Ash coming on the show, so we gotta work out the kinks before he arrives.
So I'm on the fence. Obviously, DJI did not send me one. I do have the GoPro 7, which is phenomenal. It is a great camera. It does have its issues, and the biggest issue I have with this is in cold. When it is really, really cold and I'm out snowboarding, sometimes it freezes. And when I mean freezes, it freezes to the point that the video freezes. The audio keeps going, but the video freezes, and that can suck so bad because you'll be doing some kind of action, and you think you recorded it, and you're all stoked. You're like, yeah, got it, yeah. And then you look back on it, and nothing's there. Nothing at all. Have you ever had any of these freezing issues? I know it gets a little cold where you're at, but I'm not sure if it gets cold enough.
Never. The only problem I had was formatting the SD card. That made the camera freeze up, but that is of course not optimal. But it's not as bad as when you're trying to capture footage and you actually lose the footage that you're trying to capture. So that's pretty bad. And I actually thought that the firmware update solved it for you. Do you think it's a temperature issue?
It didn't for me. I updated the firmware. It said it was a cold weather update, and I still had that issue happen afterwards. There's a couple videos on my page, if you've missed them, that one's titled Freezing, and I'm just covered in snow, and the GoPro is just frozen multiple times in the video, and I left it in the video so that I could send that to GoPro, and I've got no response, no answer, no solution to fix this yet.
Have you tried hitting them up on Twitter?
You know, I haven't publicly done it, so maybe that's what needs to be done next. That's how I've had success with DJI in the past.
Yeah, they're pretty good at answering when you post it on Twitter, actually.
You know, while we're speaking, why I've got this out, let me turn it on, because there's a feature missing from the Osmo Action that the GoPro has. And it's very surprising to me. If you go under time-lapse in the back, and to the left, there's a little thing, time warp. Their time warp video, it's right above their time-lapse video. And there is a huge, huge difference between those two. I'm actually working on a video going by our lake with the mountains in the background. Hopefully next week it'll be up, showcasing how different those two features are. The Osmo Action, it only has time-lapse. It does not have the time warp. And you'll see in this video, and there might be other videos already done like this, but it is a pretty big difference. And it's very surprised to me that they don't have that on the DJI product.
Yeah, the time warp video, that is brilliant, because that's stabilized, that utilizes the hyperspace, so you can create some pretty good results for that. It's even in 4K, I think.
You know, I rarely shoot in 4K, so I never really see what's available.
They can do time warp in 4K.
That's nice. The time warp feature is really brilliant. It really is. It's. I don't use it a lot because a lot of times I'll, in post-processing, speed up my edit on my own and then stop it and have it smooth pan to a spot where like I'm doing something in fast motion and stop so that I can talk, and then fast motion again, and filming that separately at time warp and then filming the talk and making that reconnect to another time warp, that's really hard to make smooth. But the stabilization in this is so good that you can actually do sort of a fake time warp on your own in post-production. Hey, Guitario? Guitario, is that how you say your name? I got one too. I think Henrik has one of these babies too.
Yes, I do. I just don't have it here.
Well, speaking of this, I'm working on this new short movie that will be out this summer on YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube. It's hilarious, by the way. I can't really tell you what it is, but trust me, it's hilarious. And I went out and messed with this. If it would start playing, here it goes. And this is using the 360 camera on top of my Mavic 2 Zoom.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's a couple points I want to point out. So you can take the same footage. You notice how different the footage is the second time than the first time. And it's because you can take the same footage and edit it multiple ways. You can make it into a tiny planet. You can zoom in so it's flat like a linear mode. Or like in this shot here, you can see the whole Earth. It looks like I'm way up over the Earth now with the drone, which is pretty cool. One of the things I really wanted to show by letting you guys see this clip is this is what I was hoping DJI was coming out with. Not an action camera, but a drone with a 360 camera built in, maybe on the bottom and the top. How amazing would that have been? I mean, at least on the bottom, if nothing else, because the stability, if you notice when it stops, it's going forward and it just stops. Notice that the camera is perfectly still, even though the drone is having this sudden movement. There's no motion, and that would have been such an amazing product, I think. It doesn't hurt that I have all these beautiful
did you manage to get it higher than 10 meters with this Swytech bracket?
I'm not sure how high 10 meters is. I did almost hit these telephone wires.
But I had the problem.
Look at that.
Mine was interfering with the GPS, so I couldn't get higher than the maximum allowed altitude because the GPS was blocked.
You know, I didn't try to see how high I could go, but the GPS, I was flying in, what is the mode when it's yellow on the top? I'm having a brain moment. Look at those telephone wires. I couldn't even see them. I just almost hit them twice. This is really cool, where it's like Inception, where it's like, instead of a tiny planet, it's backwards. I did go pretty far away from myself, Henrik. I don't know how high I could have gone. I imagine I could have gone as high as I wanted.
The wires.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was close to those wires.
Yeah, but Ray Holland says that Osmo Action is rugged, waterproof, and everything that the Insta360 isn't. And that is, of course, true.
Yes.
There's a lot of downsides to the Insta360. Also, just a simple thing that you can't put it on it because then you would scratch one of the lenses if you don't put it on something soft, and that will show on the lens. So, but I still think it's a fun camera, and it opens up for some new possibilities for filming that we didn't have before. But again, I wouldn't live without my action camera. But again, I also want to have my Insta360 and the options that I could get from using a camera like that.
Yeah, it is an amazing B-roll camera. That it is, because the audio in it's not so great. If you're using it by itself, then you can't really tell that the audio is so bad because you have nothing to judge it on. But like if you look at that video that I just posted about this camera, the GoPro, the Pocket, and everything side by side, I'm holding all of them up at Universal Studios side by side, clipping from one to the other, letting the audio go. That's when you can really, really tell how bad the audio is in this thing.
Yeah.
I also carry around this little pouch that comes with it to protect the lenses. No matter what I'm doing, I either set it on it or put it back in it just so that the lenses are covered.
Yeah.
It is not waterproof like the Osmo Action. However, it is pretty water resistant. I've eaten some serious crap snowboarding with this that I've shared, and I mean, I've fallen hard. And just this thing has been buried in the snow, no problems. But they want me to do a video, and I still have to film it, if this is the new action camera versus this. And that's going to be a hard one, because it has some things it does benefit, and then there's some things that I'd prefer to just use this guy.
I guess the real strength about the Insta360 is not the 360 video, because that's fun for a while, but nobody really likes it. At least I haven't been able to create any retention on my pure 360 videos. Where it really comes in handy is that you can just film and then decide in post what you want to punch out of it in a 1080p format.
Well, it's like the scene at Universal Studios where by the Jaws. I'm not sure if you watched my video, but
I did.
So when the
I
shark
did with
goes
Jaws
by,
on one side, and then Skylar, I think it was filming her reaction.
Yeah, that was all one clip, and then I just filmed it or edited it twice to be able to get her reaction at the same time, and then spliced them together so it looked in order. And that is definitely where I think that camera has benefits. However, it is more work, just as if because you do have to edit it twice before you then edit it a third time. Where if you had just filmed with two cameras, you just take the two clips and mesh them together. Okay, let me. I'm going to check the comments real quick, guys. Let's see. Hi from Greece. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see. If I've missed anything and you want me to get to it, it's easier to spot something done in a super chat than it is just a regular text. You can text it again and again, and I'll do my best to find it, to comment, because I want to communicate with you guys. That's a big reason I'm doing this, and if it works out, we're going to try to do this monthly.
And also Alvarez, he's actually saying that we are his favorite YouTube dudes. Thank you for that.
What?
And also asking how we actually met.
Oh,
how did we actually meet? That's a long time ago.
I was still living in Houston, Texas, and you did a video. It was a stop motion video, which is brilliant to this day. It's
one of
my favorite DJI. What was it? It was the original Mavic.
Yeah, it was like characterizing it, acting it like it was sleeping and the sun went up and all sorts of stuff. It took around, what was it, 1,400 pictures, single pictures, to stitch that one together.
Oh, man.
For I don't know, 60s, 70s.
I keep hoping you're going to make a part 2 one of these days. Maybe you can make the original Mavic and the Mavic 2 like meet or something. Hey, Peter, it's good to see you.
We had some crazy ideas for successors.
Okay, let's see
what happens. We're up to 19 people watching right now, so that's 18.
Nice. Well, I appreciate everyone who's here.
That's pretty nice.
Like I said, we're not going to just, if you're new, you don't just have to sit here and look at our faces. We're going to be showing some other videos and a lot more on the Osmo Action. I keep wanting to call it the Osmo Go. I really do. They really missed the mark on that. If they were going to try to stick it to GoPro, that would have been the name to use. I hold my ground on that one. So, also,
I just
did you notice?
texted Ash to hear when he would be joining.
What's that?
I just texted Ash to hear when he's joining.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so Ash, for those of you who are new and don't know, Ash is from Joining On. He actually has the Osmo Action in his hands. He's got a few videos up on his website, which is joiningon.co, isn't it? It's not com.
It's a UK site.
Okay, so it's .cu
so
or
it's,
.uk?
It's .co.uk.
Okay, so if you haven't seen his when you're done with this, you can go check his out. I will add it to the description later. I have his name in there. You can always just type Joining On and YouTube, and boom, it's going to come up. He will be joining us, and I'm saving some of the action stuff for when he joins. And I'm going to share a little more drone stuff with you guys too, because that's sort of what we do. We all have our things for drones, right? And cameras in general. All right, so Ray Holland says the 360 not being waterproof really frustrates him. I get that. I don't do a lot of underwater. Like I said, the snow doesn't hurt it. It can handle that. It is water resistant for the most part. I think they do have a waterproof case you could add into it, which would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty interesting to do that underwater, but I don't know what you use it for, but I would love to see some underwater shots with it. That'd be pretty sick. Oh, also, GoPro just announced that they're making a Fusion 2. Have you seen that?
They are?
Yes, they are.
So I hope they slice the price in half, because, man, that is expensive.
It really is. Hopefully the second one comes out and they're more competitive with the Insta360 and some of these other 360 cameras that are out there now, because there's quite a few of them now.
Ash is saying that he's just getting connected, so he will be here short.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and
we can ask all the
because I definitely have
one thing that we ask him is what about the 3.5 millimeter jack? What about that in the new camera?
There is no jack in the new camera, from what I understand.
Oh, that's easy.
So, all these people that are like, I want to be able to just plug in a mic directly with a regular jack. I think they got screwed. They didn't get their wish.
Also, I somehow heard there's no GPS in the camera.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of things lacking in this. Yes, it has a front screen. That's pretty awesome. All the vloggers are going to love that. But I'm going to tell you from experience, an action guy, and I bet you even Henrik can verify this with me. He does some e-wheel stuff, which it's an action thing. Snowboarding, motorcycling, bicycling, skateboarding. There is never a time that I'm holding it out or putting it on a helmet or something that I'm trying to see myself in the camera. Ever. Never, ever, ever, ever is that a problem. Ever. Because you don't want to look at yourself while you're doing extreme sports. Let's say you're on a BMX bike. Yeah, I'm doing the jump, but oh, let me look over here at myself. Oh, now I've just wrecked.
No, that's not how it works.
That's not and what an action camera is for.
I can basically connect that, and that's why I like my GoPro Hero 7 so much, is because it's so wide and it focuses to infinity, so I can just turn it around, talk to the camera. I don't need to think about framing or anything.
Exactly. And, then you have all these people out there online going, hey, what about this fisheye lens? The GoPro has a fisheye lens. This one's not gonna. But if you look at all the videos today, it actually does. There's a feature that you can turn that off with, so it kills that. But guess what? The GoPro has that too. It's called linear mode. And it's still far enough away. It's the perfect. It's actually puts you about probably that far from the camera, where I'm at now. That's about linear mode. And then wide would be more like here, and super wide. I can't even do super wide because I can't get that far away from my camera because there's a wall behind me. But so that's false advertising in a sense, or just them embellishing some truths without telling me the whole truth.
But also, it's relatively easy to fix it in post because the fisheye effect is constant. It's very easy to fix it in post. 4K footage.
Yeah, I've never messed with it, and honestly, for action stuff, the little bit of a fisheye looks pretty cool to me. And it's also really cool whenever you shove it like in an animal's face, like the fisheye, like close up to a dog's nose is great.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and look at just real quick. Ash is here. Check it out. Hello, everyone.
Hey guys, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, let me just get you guys. There you go. I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. That's cool. You can rearrange this live. I like that.
Yeah, sorry about this. I'm on my laptop now. I was going to be on the mobile phone, but it's easier on this.
That's fine. I can make some adjustments. Oops, wrong thing, guys.
I switched camera as well, Ash. So I'm also from a stationary.
Yeah, that's much clearer.
So we're screwing with,
there's a delay for you guys.
Yeah.
So there's a slight. Hey, look at that! Ash has also got the blurry background on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that or not. Actually, it's a bit spooky, isn't it?
Yeah, we like it. We both turned ours on. When I saw Henrik's, I was like, "You got to tell me how to do that." All right, guys. So let me introduce Ash. On the left, you have Ash from Droning On, and on the right, you have Henrik from Tech Drone Media. If you are new to the video, the live video here, they both own a very successful channel dealing with drones. I think, Ash, you deal with mostly drones, right?
Yeah, largely. Starting with drone reviews and sort of moving into a bit of everything, really. And what I think the reason I branch away for camera stuff is because when you're shooting drone footage, you quite often want to accompany it with land-based footage. And so cameras are a natural other thing to review, I think.
Just real quick, someone asked if the GoPro, and you can answer this about, I guess it won't be called linear mode on the Action, but the GoPro, someone asked if it does linear in 4K, and it does, but not at 60 frames per second. I think it does it at 30 frames per second, if I'm not mistaken. And I assume this Action, from your video, I was very interested to see that it actually has a slight fisheye lens unless you turn on a certain feature to get rid of it.
It does, yeah. And I think actually that's the one thing that I think is missing. Actually, there's two things. So the first is a 3.5mm port. Why they didn't just put a 3.5mm port on this thing is beyond me. I mean, GoPro is exactly the same. You don't have a port on that either, but I want to be able to charge it and use an external audio source at the same time, and you can't very easily. The second is the FOV options. And at the moment, you've got natural, which is slightly fisheye, and then you've got de-warp. And de-warp basically takes that fisheye lens and it straightens it out. But it's not the same. As I said in my review, I prefer to have like a GoPro where you've got normal, narrow, wide, because when I'm doing drone reviews, I stick the GoPro on my head used to stick the GoPro on there, probably stick the Osmo Action on there now. And I'd normally use normal mode because narrow, wide, linear weren't quite right. But normal was just about right. Whereas, of course, on the Osmo Action, you've only got 2 options, which isn't ideal. But I think firmware might change that because all it's doing is cropping the sensor. It's not a physical change for that feature.
See, I shoot for myself with the GoPro. I'll shoot in linear if I'm vlogging or talking like this and not actually doing action stuff. As soon as I'm doing action stuff by myself, I switch over to either super wide or wide. Typically super wide because my selfie stick to get the whole thing in isn't very long.
Yeah.
So you need that little bit of an extra fisheye to really bubble it out to show what's going on. But, you know, I am...
I think
Go ahead.
also the quad community, I do a lot of drone racing stuff, and most of the drone racers who are strapping a camera on top of their quad want super view because they want that ridiculously wide angle. So it's been a long day.
That is something.
I'm with you on that one.
All I've got is a Dr.
It's
Pepper.
blurring out not just the background, but our drinks as well.
I'll tell you later off screen the name of the show that Henrik and I are actually going to start doing monthly. Now that this is working, we can finally do it.
Yeah.
We've had a few issues. We had a few audio issues, and if we can roll those in and fix those for better audio in the future, I think we might have something rolling here. And what we hope to do is jump from my channel to his channel, and we can jump from we can have guests on everybody's channel. I think it's great bringing the community get together like this. Not just us, but our viewers as well. I love seeing them communicate.
And the other good thing as well is if you look at the live drone-related streaming shows, the majority of them are coming over from America. There are very few shows with a bit of European influence as well. So to have me and Henrik, you've got Denmark, you've got the United Kingdom and Sweden at the moment where I am, and America. So we've got a bit of everything.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I mean, that this is actually, the internet has brought us to the point that we can even do this. It's still mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to see it?
Yeah,
I have a question, if I may. Have you tested out the camera in low light? How's the low light performance?
It's not bad. It's, to be honest, as expected for any camera which has EIS. And EIS needs bright light. And so if you've seen the second review I put out, so the first one is the unboxing review. The second video I put out is a full test in 4K. For the whole day, I just went out. I was in Norway at the time. And I tested it in the daytime with EIS. I tested it running, but unfortunately I didn't have it on a GoPro mount on my head. I was holding it, so there's a bit of sideway movement. But then I tested the same at night, and you do see that kind of micro vibration effect that you get with EIS in dark, low light, exactly the same as the Hero 7. I haven't got a Hero 7. And I have to confess, before I was very lucky to get this from DJI, I was about to buy one because I paraglide and I paramotor and I ski. And the Osmo Pocket is not designed for that. So I was about to buy one. So I've not done a comparison, but there are plenty out there today. And if you look at most of them, the comments and the reviewers are saying that they are pretty much the same in terms of EIS at night. They both suffer badly. And that's natural for EIS. It's never going to be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I do
Makes
think
sense.
is if the next generation comes out with a 1-inch sensor or something like that, that might actually help with that problem. We'll see.
Yeah. More light into the lens. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's true.
Because that is one of the weakest spots I have on the GoPro 7 is that, you know, at low light, you know, if the sun's starting to set and you're still snowboarding or doing whatever you're doing, all of a sudden it's just not as stable as it was. And that's, besides the freezing issue I have in cold, that is the only other thing that I have a problem with.
That's true. I mean, I guess if you're skiing at night as well, you probably be okay there because you've got the bright white slope and most night ski slopes are lit up pretty well as well. I mean, if you think of the use cases for nighttime stabilization for something like an action camera, I think the use cases are quite slim, actually.
You know what's funny to me is this picture that just is rolling through. You guys will see it in a second. It was an advertisement picture on the right. It was a blue screen of the diver that they used for the advertising for the Osmo Action. And on the left, I had shown what DJI had used for a picture a long time ago for their underwater camera, and you can see how close the two actually are together. I mean, they're not only cloning this camera in looks, but they're cloning it in advertising too. And now I don't mean it's a bad clone. It's obviously a good clone. Ignore the specs that are on there. I've got actually new specs here, which Droning On provided for us. So those will pop up in a second. We've got to figure out a way to do this where you guys can see what I'm switching to instantly instead of
I normally have the stream going in another browser window, but
what about this? Can you guys see what I'm seeing now?
I'm seeing some pictures.
Yep. Can you see the OBS?
There's some specs.
So now you guys...
Not Skype, but...
Go ahead.
I can't see it in the Skype window, no.
Oh, bummer. I was trying to switch it so that you guys could see things in real time in the Skype window instead of having to see...
I can see specs brought to you by Droning On.
On the Skype window?
No, on the live.
What do you see on the Skype window?
You.
I just see you video.
Yeah, you.
Oh, wait.
Henrik.
Now that should fix it. How's that? Now do you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Now
okay,
we do.
So
there
now
we go.
Everything's going to be real time, so you guys know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it instead of having to see it in the delay.
There you go.
Better.
That's nice. Yeah, I thought that'd be a useful comparison. I put out that article tonight, this afternoon actually, and just compiled the statistics between each of the three. I haven't given any opinion on it, and that's the thing with my reviews. There is too much clickbait reviewers in the drone industry. I don't classify you two in that at all. You're not. You two are totally not like that. But there are too many people, and if you look at some of the reviews of the Osmo Action today, saying you must buy this camera. Now, when you watch my reviews, it is just natural excitement about these new products. But what I don't do at the end is say, no, I think you must buy it now. I'm just sort of saying that this is what it does, this is what it can't do. Everybody's going to use it differently. I've got this and I've got the Osmo Pocket, and I will use them both because they're both for very different purposes. But ultimately, that comparison matrix should help you, I think, decide which one is for you, or both. And then you've obviously got the decision of the GoPro or the Insta 360. But it's great that we've got so much choice, isn't it?
It really is. And what's interesting is that you say that, because out of all the reviews I've watched, so I stayed up till 3 a.m. setting up this whole OBS software, and then I woke up at 6:45 so I could catch what I thought was going to be a big event by GoPro, to just seeing their website updated with nothing. And I was so disappointed with that, to wake up that early for that. But then I spent hours while we were waiting to do this, researching and seeing everybody's videos that have been put out, as many as I could between then and now. And the only two I've seen that weren't overhyped, that seemed like, oh, it's a good camera, but it's really not a GoPro killer, are yours and iPhone Dose. That's it.
Oh yeah, I love him. He's brilliant.
Yeah,
and he's real.
He is.
Look at iJustine's, she used the swimming pool thumbnail clickbait, and obviously everyone.
I would do that too if I could.
Yeah, in detail. But you'll never see a negative review from the likes of iJustine. Everything she sent to review from DJI is amazing, and that's what I'm trying never to be. I just want to present the facts, show the testing. Don't over-edit it, over-color grade it. The footage you saw from the camera in my review was all completely raw. I didn't apply any color grading to any of that footage in that, not even from the Pocket, the Osmo Pocket, where I used some of the presenting shots.
And that's good.
And all the audio was all standard.
But and you're right. She, I do enjoy her videos. I like the way she edits. She gets a little excited about everything, and that's okay. That works for her. But it just, to me, I hate to be I don't mean to sound negative. That's why that last video that I put out, which got tons of thumbs down, by the way, was supposed to be a positive video that was about how the winner in this whole thing is you and you over there and you guys out there and all of us. We win. We're the consumers. We're the ones who are going to get price drops now. We're the ones who are going to see the next GoPro 8 step the game up even further. And then DJI, if they do okay with this, will step this up. And
Yeah.
we really win. I mean, one thing that people aren't talking about is all these tariffs that have just happened. This war going on between China and America right now with taxation on products.
Oh yeah.
GoPro actually just announced that they are moving their production facility for America to Mexico. So they'll be able to not have the tariffs from China coming back over to America. So
Trump's going to love that.
yeah, well, I mean, it's it's a workaround from the China tariffs. I don't want to get into
let's face
politics
it, if
too
GoPro's,
much, but my
if they
point
started
is,
manufacturing
go ahead.
go on, sorry. If they started manufacturing GoPros in America, you'll be paying another $200 for them. Whereas if they manufacture them in Mexico, you won't pay quite as much as you would, but slightly more than China probably.
Well, what they're saying is they're going to actually be less than China now because of the tariffs. They'll be able to keep the price, and that's one of the reasons GoPro stock actually just went up the other day from what I was reading. So
I saw that, and I noticed it didn't have much of an impact on their price today either. Their stock price moved down very, very slightly, but not significantly. But this is why I'm shocked that DJI didn't have a big event for this. This was I was very, very lucky, but I got this back in March, and I was told at that point that there was not going to be an event for this, no physical event, and I was shocked because this is big. The GoPro execs will be concerned about this.
I agree. I think it is a comparable camera. I don't think it's a GoPro killer in any way. Those of you who are on the fence and you don't have either, it's a fence that's sort of hard to. The selfie camera is your deciding factor. Do you actually need it for action stuff? You don't. If you're vlogging, I see the benefit. If you have a GoPro 7 already, should you run out and sell your GoPro 7? Absolutely not. I don't think so, and I would imagine that Henrik and Ash both would probably agree with me. I mean, money's tight for people. There's no reason to be throwing it away. The cameras are pretty similar.
Yeah, that's sort of my opinion yet. But again, I haven't had it in hands, so it's hard to say. But from the specs side, there's nothing that would make me go sell my GoPro and buy this one instead. Except from maybe making a review of it.
Well, do you remember though, the main point for me that I'm keeping in mind with comparing the two is that this is 100 megabits per second 4K, not 78. I haven't seen a side-by-side comparison of the raw video yet, so I can't comment on whether that extra, whatever it is, 22 megabits per second makes a big difference. But it's 22 megabits per second is a lot of data. That's quite a difference.
And I do agree with that,
true.
but all the footage I've seen so far, and I haven't seen it, I haven't gone out myself and done it, but like I said, from 8 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock, I did nothing but watch footage. And I've only seen only one out of all of them, that the footage looked slightly better during daylight hours than the GoPro. And I think it was a fluke. I swear it looked like he, compared to all the other, he did some post-processing on it, which I can make almost anything look better in post-processing.
And that's the problem. When you review a product, you don't touch the video that you get out of it, because otherwise you're not showing the raw video that most consumers will be handling. And let's face it, color grading is a bit of a skill in its own right. Yeah, anybody can apply a LUT and LUT, but it still takes tweaking and refining. So the other consideration, though, is that YouTube, remember, maxes out the bitrate at 68 megabits per second. So any review you watch, you're not seeing 100 megabits per second. You're seeing 68, regardless whether it's a GoPro 7 or the Osmo Action. So really what you need is the raw video. In fact, sure, what I'll do, I'll capture some video, and Henrik, I'll send it to you as well. And I'll Dropbox it to you guys, 100 megabits per second, 4K, so you can have a look at the raw video.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That would be nice.
In fact, if you want to send me your Hero 7...
do you not have a Hero 7?
No, I was going to buy one. Literally about to buy one until this popped up. And, I got this so early, it arrived in a bubble wrap ball with no box, no instructions, nothing. I was just about to buy a Hero 7 because I needed something for my paramotoring, because I've still got a Hero 4. That's how old I am with my Hero cameras. It's a great camera, the Hero 4, but I like this camera. I really do. It's not a replacement for the Osmo Pocket. They're very, very different cameras, and you use one for one purpose and the other for another. But I accept that maybe this is equal to the Hero 7, but until I've got one, I can't do a comparison one-on-one.
See this feature right here, you can see it says negative 10 degrees Celsius. Makes me wonder if it's going to have any kind of freezing issues like I have. I know most people don't have this issue, but I do live in the mountains and I am buried in snow all the time by choice, But let's see.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have. Yeah, I don't know about the GoPro batteries, but this is a lithium ion, and obviously they're much more geared towards lower climates, lower temperatures. And that's, but I'm guessing the Hero 7 is also lithium ion rather than polymer.
Something while you let me make you bigger real quick because I want to talk about something you're showing right there.
Yeah.
So if you look at the battery, everybody, notice that the bottom of the case of the actual camera is connected to the battery. And you notice the orange thing going around it, that's a seal to weatherproof it. Now, if you hold up the camera with the battery out, I assume it's just a big empty area now.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so to me, these are issues waiting to happen. So if you lose your battery, you don't have a cover that you can keep dust and other nasty stuff out of there. And if you have children, that's going to happen eventually. You're going to lose something. Children are great at helping you do that.
It is a lithium ion, the one from the GoPro.
And so, but with the GoPro, if you do take it out, you can. I mean, you can shut the case. So another thing.
It's an interesting point. The thing that irritates me on my Hero 4.
Let me finish my point here. On the battery, hold yours up again. So while we're holding them up together.
Yep.
So the battery, notice the battery is just normal. The seal is in the door. So it's always shut. The seal is protected. That seal is on the battery. So if you have batteries extras in your bag and that seal gets damaged while it's in your bag and you don't notice it and you pop it in and they go underwater, that's it. Bye-bye camera.
Ow. So when you buy additional batteries for the Osmo Action, you get a case with it. So you get a battery case with the batteries. But also, I'll tell you what, the one thing that irritates me about the Hero 4 I've got, because that's also got that little battery cover, is I find it annoying having to slide the battery open with the cover, put the battery in, shut the cover. I like the fact that on this, I just pop 2 little bits there, the battery's out, and I pop it in that quickly. And you know that it's locked. It's also got 2 locks here rather than just the one. So you've got to unclip that one and then unclip that one before the battery actually ejects.
We can have a race.
There you go. Oh, balls just dropped on the floor.
So, but with the 7, it's definitely different than the older one that you've had.
Right. Okay.
You can push it in and you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear that, but it clicks also, so you know it's shut. Opening it is just this little tab right here. With one tab, you just slide it like that. And it just opens. It's on a spring, so it's really easy.
Yeah.
It just keeps, to me, I'm just, there's going to be kids that don't put the batteries in their case. It's going to happen. People are going to mess up that seal on the battery and no longer have waterproof cameras. Now, most of us are going to take care of this stuff, but a lot of us are hard on our stuff. We just sort of throw it around.
Yeah. It is an action camera, so you are going to be throwing them around, I guess. But just a question with the 7 then. That cover, that's the waterproofing lock, is it? That cover on the Hero 7?
The whole thing is waterproof, so each cover, so for example, there's another cover on the side on the 7, right here.
Yeah.
Where your USB-C is, as well as, I guess, HDMI. The door itself, God, it gets out of focus. Right there, see that? That's a rubber seal around it. So
and then on the battery cover, because my point is, what if you break the battery cover on the Hero 7? You can't use the Hero 7 at all, can you?
I mean, it still turns on, I think. Let's see.
But it loses its waterproofing.
Yeah, I mean, if the battery cover is broken, you'd have to get it fixed. But same with if you break the seal on the other one, then you'd have to get that fixed too.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
So but, you break any of them, and they're no longer waterproof, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what, though, the thing is, I mean, some people are moaning about the Pocket, the Osmo Pocket, about vlogging. You can use the Osmo Action very easily for vlogging, largely because, there it is. I love the Pocket because of that front screen. And that front screen, you probably can't see it. There's a lot of lag on this video feed, I think. But that front screen is lovely, and you can see it. I mean, in Norway, you saw the review. The weather was beautiful, bright light, totally sunny blue skies, and yet I could see that screen perfectly.
Yeah, this is my big complaint with this. I love the form factor of the Pocket and the ease of turning it on and recording. That's great. But as I get older, this screen is tiny, and I don't always have these little readers on me, which make it a pain. There's sometimes I'll be pointing thinking that I'm actually filming and not paying attention to the screen, and I'm actually filming higher than everybody. If I could just get it to not do that, then this would be pretty cool for a vacation camera. But there's a couple little things.
The Osmo Pocket's getting better for that. When it first came out, I was constantly looking at the screen on it. I do find now, actually, I'm looking at the screen of the Osmo Pocket far less because the firmware's improved now, so I know the face tracking is on just by glancing and seeing that green box. And then I know it's focused on my face as well. Henrik, you shoot with the Pocket a lot, and your videos are always beautifully in focus, so I'm guessing you find the same.
Yeah. But I'm actually cheating a little bit. I'm using the Bluetooth or the wireless module. So I put the camera up with the wireless module, and then I have the phone in the pocket connected. So I can just check the framing. but it's rarely a problem, actually. It's definitely been better.
Definitely.
It has a tendency to overexpose the footage a little bit, I think.
So
but it's running in auto.
On the Pocket,
then your background is blown out. So I normally go at least one stop down when I record with it in auto. Did I say auto?
I would agree.
I actually use auto sometimes.
I use auto almost constantly on everything. It's just I don't have enough time in the day to sit down and worry about manual stuff unless especially if it's for YouTube. I mean, YouTube, the majority of the people who watch my YouTube watch in 1080 or on a telephone.
Yeah, exactly. And the same with ND filters. I don't know about you, but I really cannot be bothered. And quite frankly, the footage, I don't know if you saw my video from Finland the other day, drone footage. I didn't use any ND filters there. And yet, I think if you ask most drone people, they would say, oh, yeah, he used ND filters in those shots. Nope, standard. And it wasn't even a Mavic 2. It was just a Mavic Pro. And yet the footage in 4K, I think it looked lovely. I was really pleased with that.
It's very, very funny you say that because Henrik can attest that I've not really liked ND filters very much over the years. I understand why people use them and what they're for, but I shoot 99% of the time without any.
Yeah, same here. It's overrated.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many videos from content creators out there saying you need to use ND filters, that you need to have replaceable lenses on your Phantom, that you need to have this, need to have that. And consumers start to think that they need all of this. And actually, they don't. For most drone operators, ND filters are just not a necessity in the slightest. And instead, just focus on flying your drone and having fun. Look at that footage. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Why is it not? There it goes.
Especially if there's not a lot of movement in the picture, you don't need it.
And for some reason, this video is lagging. It's but this has no ND filters in it at all, and it's just gorgeous. And this is actually not even edited. Like this is no color correction, no anything. This is right out of the Mavic Zoom. Probably filmed in 1080, 30 frames per second. The full video of this is on my channel somewhere, and it doesn't lag like this. I think it's because I have so many windows and not enough RAM on my computer. But it's a gorgeous clip, and it's exactly what you just said. You don't have to have ND filters to achieve gorgeous videos.
Yeah, but exactly. it's true what you're saying, Ash, because you see it in the forums. It's every time you post something nice, people the first thing they're asking, what kind of filter? Or did you use a filter?
Exactly.
And they even do it, and they even do it with photos. That makes me laugh because what? Unless you have an artistic purpose of throwing on a filter, exposure. You don't need it. You just crank up the shutter speed to capture that moment.
You're absolutely right. Henry, and it's those same individuals that they've only just bought the drone, and the first thing they want to do, they post and say, "I've just bought a drone. I want ND filters. What should I buy?" And next week they've crashed into a tree. ND filters they're not a necessity. They're nice to have if you know how to use them, and that's the other key thing. You've done tutorial videos on ND filters, and so have I. The majority of people don't watch them, and they don't understand. They just plonk them on the camera and expect them to work. There was a question today, by the way, does this support ND filters? And yes, it does. You unscrew the lens on the front, and then you can just screw on ND filters. And in fact, I've got a Freewell Gear set of ND filters that they've already produced and manufactured for this thing very, very quickly. And that review will be coming out soon. But also to note, when you don't have anything attached to the front, it's not waterproof. So you need a lens on the front of it.
But that's the same with the Hero 7.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll tell you what.
There's a square thing you can. If you take that one off, it's not waterproof. I think
it's a pain in the butt taking that on and off, though. It is on.
Yeah, it is.
I've had to replace mine. I've cracked it, like I've eaten it and just tumbled down the mountain and cracked, and I left it there for many videos, and you can see a hairline across my videos, like for months that I just didn't. It's like $10, $19, something like that to get a new one. I assume it's probably the same on that. Do you know how much replacement lens is for the Action? By chance?
No, I don't know how much the Freewell lens set is either. Actually, I've been sent it for review.
Yeah, me too. I'm just lagging. I'm just lagging the camera.
I've actually asked, you'll laugh. Henrik is aware of this, but Freewell sent me some ND filters for my GoPro as well as my drone. It's got to be over 6 months or more now that I've been putting off making that video. I've gone out and used them some with my GoPro, and the difference, if you shoot in full auto, the difference is so minimal. So minimal.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, so Polar Pro and Freewell sent me filter sets for the Osmo Pocket the other day. They're $100 each, these sets. In fact, Polar Pro sent me two $100 sets. And Henrik, you've done lots of tutorials about ND filters. They take a long time to shoot, a long time to edit, and you really need to think about how you're presenting it. And I just thought, these two are good brands, Polar Pro and Freewell. They're both brilliant. I'm not going to go and shoot another ND filter review. So I just unboxed them and looked at the weights of them, the quality of them. If I ever see another ND filter video ever again, I'll just headbutt a wall. I'm so tired of seeing it.
I felt a little bit the same way when I did the last one. It's like, there's so much work in these. Even though I reshoot some of the footage from older videos, it just, you spend, I don't know, 10, 15 hours on cranking out an ND filter video. And
Greg C in the comments has an excellent point, though. For still photography, there is a benefit for ND filters. If you want to get a waterfall that has motion to it, or something during the day, and you want blur, that is really the only way you can achieve it.
Yeah. But that's also what I said. If you're using them, it should be for an artistic choice. But you don't need them for default photography if you just want to freeze the frame.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
Of course, and then of course you could argue you could use polarizers to help produce reflections and stuff like that. Of course, it's the same game as in normal photography.
Yep.
With these filters.
It was funny. Back in college, my college days, I took some photography classes, and the filter I used the most wasn't on my camera. It was back when we had something called film, and we had to develop 35 millimeter. There was a number.
I think this is back in the 1920s or something like that.
Yeah, there's
are you older than me, Sean?
I'm 45. How old are you guys?
Well, I don't know. After this last 2 weeks of non-stop bloody editing, I feel about 60. But no, I'm 39 this year.
And Henrik, how old are you?
I'm turning 49 this summer.
Ah, okay. So I'm in the middle.
I thought you said 29 then, Henrik.
Yeah, I wish. That's a while back.
So there's a filter that you put in the darkroom, in the lab, under the projection screen called a number 5 filter, which is a very high dynamic range filter. That in black and white photography, I use that so much. I haven't figured out how that would work with digital. It's really just sort of a dynamic range filter. It made the black is black and the whites were super white, and it gave for a very high contrast kind of photo. Not necessarily an Ansel Adams type photo, but it was really, really fun. And like my point is that we're just doing all this stuff digitally. So now you just go into Photoshop and you just adjust your brightness contrast.
Yeah, you know, my mum was asking me the other day about graduated filters, and I said to her, "Don't shoot with your SLR camera with graduated filters, because if you do, you're stuck with that graduated filter applied to your raw photo, and there's nothing you can do to get rid of it."
Yep.
And you know, things like that as well. People, although I must say, actually, the other day some filters arrived from Freeworld that I haven't tested or even looked at properly yet. They're for the Osmo Pocket, and they are night filters. They're designed specifically to brighten up or improve the look of night video. I'm not sure how they work. Henrik, I know you've got a photography background. Have you heard of any blue filter, something like that?
I honestly don't know. I saw a review from this Asian girl, Young 360. She did a review of those, and it seems somehow it reduces the glare of all the light sources. So it's somehow I don't know if it's some sort of a polarizing effect. I don't know. Honestly.
And that's kind of, you kind of want the glare in some respects in night photography. That's kind of the appeal, the cinematic look of it. But yeah.
But if you can reduce the light sources in the sky, you might be able to bring up the darker areas in some respect, and in that way get a better picture. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So Mars FPV drones in the comment just said, "Where's the new DJI drone?" And you know, I made a video recently about that, about the Mavic Air 2. Since then, I've heard other things that it's actually not really a Mavic Air 2. It's a Spark combined with a Mavic Air that's still going to be foldable. Again, rumors are just rumors, so take all those rumors with.
I would expect we lose connection to Ash in a second.
Ash is like, I'm not going to talk about this at all.
Do you want to see something? Do you want to get a sneak preview of something?
Sure, but don't get yourself in trouble.
Okay, hang on.
Uh-oh, don't.
No, I'm only joking. I'm sorry, I'm joking. I'll tell you what, I saw a live stream the other day of some content creator stating that he had the Osmo Action to a live stream of about 7 people, and he just flashed it up briefly, put it straight back down, and it was, you know, when you pause and freeze frame it, it was just a cheap budget action camera that he actually held up. He was pretending to have this new product, and I'm sorry to say it, but there are too many content creators out there at the moment claiming that there is a Spark 2, there is a Phantom 5. Ken, Original Dovo, put out a video the other day. I shot a video a month ago. I still haven't edited it. But basically saying the same thing. Please, just let's, you know, the speculation on these new drones, there's no foundational basis for it. It's not even a rumor that can, it's a spark that can spark this kind of speculation.
But what you can do, and I do agree with you, but you can have fun speculating. You just, if you make a content video about it, make sure you tell people that you really don't know. You've heard this from this guy, who's heard this from this guy, who's heard it from this guy, who's then heard it from this guy. Unless you're the guy who has it in your hands, but then if you the guy that has it in your hands, you're not making the video.
The difference is, Sean, when you put your speculation videos out, but they are light-hearted and they are fun, whereas there are live streams out there and videos going out every other day, deadly serious, discussing the DJI Spark 2, and it's going to have 4K, it's going to have a 3-axis gimbal. There is absolutely zero out there right now regarding a Spark 2, and I can tell you now that there is no Spark 2 at this time.
Yeah, see, what I hear, and you don't have to say anything, but what I hear is it's not a Spark 2, it's not an Air 2, but there is something new in the works, sort of a combination of the two, that might be talked about by the end of summer. Could be totally fake. And again, could be totally real.
That came.
I don't know.
That came from. That came from some weird fantasist that we mentioned earlier, as you know, Sean.
Here we go. So here's something I also say. I know DJI watches these. They've contacted me because of these videos before. They've contacted and helped my subscribers before from comments. So that's why in the video that I did, I said, let them know what you want. And if enough people mention it, if enough people are behind it, they just might take that into consideration.
I think the problem is the drones such as the Mavic 2 were already in design and development when the Mavic Pro came out. And my business is development. We develop products in my real life, not the YouTube life. And when we are launching a product, we're already thinking about version 2 and its requirements for version 2. Henrik, you work in IT as well, so you're probably the same.
Yeah.
Just as you're releasing your product, you're already building the next version.
And so you have a pipeline that has different stages.
And a roadmap and a budget. Everything so although I love the idea of the community voicing what they want to see, the sad reality is that it's probably too late for the next version, but the version after that, absolutely. Yeah, I think that feedback can be taken on board. The question is whether they are really the right people listening, because DJI might be watching these streams, they might even be watching my videos, but it's unlikely. And I tell you what, when we get products early, I've had this, as I said already, very lucky. I've had this since March, and I've had 3 firmware iterations. I've sent numerous feedback loop emails back and forth, saying I've spotted this issue and I've spotted that issue, and they get fixed. So getting these products early is not necessarily a load of fun and shooting a video and getting ready for launch day. We're part of this beta testing and getting products more evolved. Same with the Osmo Pocket as well, although as we all know that took a little bit longer after launch to get right. So these products are in development for a long, long time. The reality is nobody knows what's coming next at the moment. At this time, there is no combination of a Mavic Air and a Spark. This is just an old rumor that started circulating. Anybody saying they've seen anything like this at a dealer or elsewhere is just making it up. And the downside of this is it affects dealers, it affects retailers, because when they think something's coming because somebody on YouTube said it is, they stop buying. And I know retailers that really, really start to struggle financially because they keep phoning them up and saying, when's the Mavic 3 coming out? I've been told it is.
But we all know that something always comes. Look at the iPhone, look at the Samsung Galaxy. There's channels that make nothing but videos on speculation. And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
The difference is there's a difference, like you said, to fun speculation and someone going, today I'm going to discuss the Mavic Air 2, and it is coming, and I know it's coming because I've seen it. But I don't have any pictures, and I can't show it to you. There's a huge difference.
God, we need to do this. It's therapy, this, isn't it? Like counseling.
It's great. It's great. If I get this audio worked out, hopefully the audio is decent enough for everybody. We had huge audio issues at the beginning of this video. They seem to be doing okay for now. If this works out, or if I can get the audio to the next level, then I want to seriously turn this into a show. I've got like art ideas, banner ideas. I've got a name. If the audience enjoys it, there's a lot of potential for this. It's just fun, man, and it's a lot cheaper than a plane flight.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
We need some bargain now, and we'd be sorted. And you need to fly over to Europe as well, Sean, because it's just great over here. Although we don't have skiing on our doorstep and snowboarding, I'm so envious of that.
Oh, it's amazing. I want to make a video, and there's still snow. There is a mountain open until June 2nd, and it's going to actually stay open probably close to July 4th on the weekends. But I want to make a video that shows sort of my day. Like, wake up, send the kids off to school, mountain, do some snowboarding, come to work, do some tattooing, film a video while I'm either at the mountain or behind in between tattoos, stay up till 3 in the morning editing, wake up, do it all over again.
Oh, that's the life.
But
that is the life.
It's something funny. People have asked me, how much money do you make on YouTube? I'm like,
I get that all the time.
Guys, I think I made like $150 in the last 28 days. And if you count that I spend 3 to 5 hours for every video I make, that's not a lot of money for 28 days worth of making video content. The reason I do it, and I assume they do it, is for, well, probably 2 reasons. One, we absolutely love the creative side of editing and making this content. We all film our own videos. We all edit our own videos. Two, it's like any job. There's potential. If there wasn't potential for growth, then it's, what's the point?
I agree. I think there's a lot of channels out there. I mean, yeah, we all put affiliate links into our videos and we all do this and that, but you can tell the channels out there that are just doing it for money, because it's just a different type of feel to the video themselves. And I love Casey Neistat. I think he's brilliant. I even like watching iJustine and her content. But it doesn't feel real. And that's what I think us three in our videos try to put out the most, that it's just keeping it real. And if we're looking at a new product, we get these products without paying for them some of the time, if we're lucky. And we have to put across our reviews on the basis that the people watching will have to spend $349. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I don't want to tell them that it's amazing. I don't have a swimming pool in my back garden, so part of my review can't be diving into a pool like iJustine did.
Yeah, that
Not
lake.
tall
You should have taken off down to your skivvies and jumped in that lake. It looked pretty cold.
Hey, trust me, you don't want to see me topless or in my swimsuit. That would put off the viewers. Thumbs down. But yeah, I think people think it's really easy running channels, but us three know it's a lot of time. It's time consuming. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's the consistency that kills you. I can easily put up making a sprint, doing a lot of videos, but at some point I just feel burnt out.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, and that's something. Something that happened to me this winter. Let me get back on the right. There we go. Last summer, I was making a lot of videos, tutorials, how-tos, things like that. Winter came, snow came. I started snowboarding more. I was still making content like that, but on the mountain. And then at some point, I just started making fun snowboarding content. I just went out and snowboarded and showed powder days and snow blast to the face, and just going on a cat tour off in areas that aren't even hikeable to barely. Just really fun content, and it had nothing to do with any of the stuff my channel normally had. And I noticed a dramatic slowdown in growth. Dramatic. Still was growing, but it was crawling. And now just instantly getting back to this stuff, my growth is right back to what it was a year ago.
It is a lot easier to make subscribers and viewers when you do searchable content. That's the matter of the fact. But I understand why you did what you did, because you live in a fantastic place and you have some fantastic experiences to share.
Yeah.
But you were struggling a bit at one point. You were barely getting 300 views on a video after a week or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, considering that the footage, a couple of those clips are just mind blowing. I wish I had one rolled up to show you guys. I'd look for it, but it would mess up this. Actually, no, that won't work. Oh, another time. But it's. I mean, there's one clip. It was like 30 seconds, and it was just mind-blowing snow. I mean, it looked like a professional video, and it got just a few hundred views and just disappeared after that.
And so, just to raise a question, Publi Eidos, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sorry, but he asked an interesting point in the comments about detachable gimbals on drones. Now, obviously, GoPro, ironically, tried this with their grip, the GoPro grip and the Karma. People bought it because of that detachable gimbal, the fact that they could attach their GoPro into the Karma. But the problem you've got there, I mean, I don't know about you guys, I treat my drones like they're made of glass. I pick them up so carefully. The gimbals are so fragile, as you know, as are the cameras. For me, if the Mavic had a detachable gimbal, I would hesitate to ever detach it and use it off the drone for the fear of breaking it. Because if you break it, you can't fly your drone anymore.
I can put a little insight into that, because prior to all these drones and DJI blowing up the way they did, I had the Blade Chroma, which had a detachable gimbal. Used that a lot. The audio on it was horrible, but the gimbal worked really, really well. It actually worked better than the DJI Mavic gimbal, like much better. Okay. And then of course the GoPro came out with the Karma and the Karma grip. and we've got a lot of experience here in the mountains with that Karma grip, and it is really durable. Like you could just throw it in a bag and toss it around, and it's fine. That would be the way I think one would need to be made to be able to use it off the camera, which GoPro succeeded with that. They are still making the Karma grip, even though they're not making the Karma anymore.
Yeah. I think it is helped, of course, by the fact that the GoPro itself is an action camera, so it can be thrown around. But imagine if DJI produced a detachable gimbal and camera, imagine the additional weight in reinforcing that camera, reinforcing the gimbal, so that it can be rough and ready and designed for that. I mean, the Pocket is very fragile. Young 360 broke hers. I've had a few close scares of dropping my Pocket, picking it up and thinking it won't work again.
So one thing, if you guys remember, and I think I've talked to Henrik about this, and I might have talked to you about this, Ash, when the first leaks on the DJI Mavic 2 and Zoom were put out, there was a pile of things like this next to it. And we all thought it was a removable gimbal for the drone. That we thought it would just slide into the drone, something like that, and then you'd be able to slide it out and use it. Which, if this was the case, I would be okay with that. This is durable enough that I could see this going in and out. And I would not be surprised if DJI has not experimented with that in the past. We wouldn't know. But they could have, just like you said, there's whatever they're working on 2 or 3 things at a time. And we really don't know what the next one to come out is going to be yet. But it's, it was funny because that picture had so many of us thinking that, yet we actually had a preview to this product long time before it even came to the market.
I think they will. I actually think they will do an attempt to move away from gimbal technology and do it electronically.
I agree. Like this, as I showed earlier, I'm going to show it again. Ash, you weren't here yet. Let me find it.
Yeah.
Have you seen how stable 1X is when it's on top of a drone? It's crazy. Even if the drone stops full speed, it still stays completely stable.
I really hate that I don't have more RAM on my computer because I'm positive that's what's causing the lag on these videos. I am going to be buying a new computer with more RAM soon. So
the thing is, if you think about it, a 360 camera will always be completely stable because you've got movement in every single axis, so you can stabilize it. But I think you're right, Henrik. I think drones like the Mavic are not designed to be flown around like a racing quad. So as long as the drone has a camera that can over-capture an oversized sensor, like an 8K sensor, that actually crops down to 4K with EIS, then you're absolutely right, I think.
Yeah, and they could decide not to export the whole video. They could just let the user decide which part of the video they want out. Like if it was a gimbal that was being adjusted. So they could keep the amount of oversampling overhead down.
Yeah. You guys talk amongst yourself. I'm going to look through the comments while you guys talk.
Okay.
Try to include some of the people
geeking out here. Does anyone want to know anything about this or see anything about this?
And keep in mind, a super chat goes a long way. It's really hard to keep track with
never
comments.
Super chat.
I never get them either. Like, I'm looking through all the comments right now. I don't even have $1.
You need to text Rick Halper. He's pretty generous spending a super chat on us guys. I had $15 from him at some point.
Jenna is in the
that's
chat.
$15 more than I've ever had, Henrik.
I actually met Jenna in person at the Austin Drone Spin Up. Very nice person.
You did?
Yeah. I'll probably be going to it again this October. Let's give a shout out to Ready Set Drone. He did something really cool. If you guys are into drones and are watching, he put together an event at a baseball stadium where we could fly inside this open ceiling baseball stadium with a bunch of other drone enthusiasts and video enthusiasts. And it was really cool. And he's doing it again this next year in October. It's going to be in Austin.
Spin-up event.
Yep, the spin-up event.
Henrik and I have had his DJI Spark.
What's that?
Yeah.
Henrik and I have had the Drone Around the World Spark that's going to be auctioned off at that event. There's actually quite a funny story about that.
I tried to get in on that. I tried so hard to get in on that because I thought all the mountains around me would be a nice addition. But next time, maybe.
Your background was not pretty enough, Sean.
Yeah, where I live is just not pretty enough.
I I actually packaged it up, took it to the post office, ready to post to Argentina, and then I was literally about to hand it over the desk and remembered I'd forgotten to sign it.
Oh no!
So that's the whole point of the exercise sort of thing. But yeah, you have to cover that at the event, Sean. We'd love to see that.
Yeah,
the auctioning
for
of
sure. So just those who are watching, the Spark Around the World thing is something a channel Ken Heron has, and you can YouTube search Ken Heron, and he's sent a Spark. I think he started at his house and flew it first, and then sent it to a whole.
Hey, you got $10 super chat.
Hey, whoa, Jenna, that's awesome! Thank you so much. Like I said, I told you she was cool. I told you. So the Spark Around the World, he sends it out, and then it goes to all the. I don't remember how many people it's going to, but he's sending this one Spark, and they're filming, and then he's putting together a compilation video of all these different places, and everyone's signing the thing, and I think they're going to auction it off, if I'm not mistaken, or raffle it off, one of the two, at this year's Spin Up in October.
Yeah, it's about 10 locations all around the world, and I must say that was the first time I'd ever flown a Spark. No, second time. And what a great little drone it is.
It
really good. Apart from the range limitation, but it is a great drone.
I am always blown away at how nice that 1080 picture on the Spark really is.
Yeah, definitely. It's really, really and it's so cheap now as well. That's the other good thing.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about picking up a second-hand one, just bringing on for summer holiday, because it fits easily in your in your luggage.
How much are they selling for now? It's
such a big loss if you lose it.
I must say though, I've got an Anafi. I got an Anafi from Parrot, very lucky, the French company, and I bring that with me everywhere now. I don't bring my Mavic 2. I don't bring any other drone. I used to bring Dobby everywhere with me. I love that little thing. But now I bring my Anafi, and it weighs nothing. You can fly it with a controller or with your mobile phone, and via the mobile phone, it flies beautifully. And it's got a load of really cool cinematic preset flight modes as well.
It flies for a very long time as well, yeah.
Whoa, $50 from Gurge.
What? Oh my gosh, Greg!
That's you retired for the day, Sean. You can take the week off.
That's pretty awesome, man. Thank you so much. Wow. That's my first real super chats, guys. Maybe we should all do this.
Joe wants us on the show all the time.
This is fun, and that's amazing. And I feel like though they should ask a question so that I can spend a minute with you, Greg, because that deserves a minute, or 3 or 5.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to film your super chat with the Osmo Action. There you go.
So, one question that we've been beating around the bush and we haven't really answered, and we've got sidetracked a little bit, is would you buy the Osmo Action over the GoPro 7 Black? I think that's a question that people want to know.
I don't have the Hero 7 Black, and I'm not going to pretend to have the knowledge to compare the two because I haven't got it.
I'm interrupting you for 1 second. Something you weren't here for. There's a feature that the GoPro 7 has that the Osmo Action doesn't, and it's a very big.
You can just play GPS.
It's a feature to do with time lapse. I mentioned this earlier in the video. Yours has time lapse, but it does not have time warp. And I am working on a video.
It has motion lapse.
It has motion lapse and time. Okay, so they're just calling it.
Sorry, hyperlapse.
They're calling it hyperlapse. Okay, so then it probably does have the same thing. I just missed that, so that's good to know. So
it's my fault. I didn't review that feature. I just ran out of time. It was getting cold in Norway. But yeah, it has hyperlapse, and all time warp is hyperlapse.
Yeah, basically. It is. That's fine. Okay. No, that's good to know. So my point earlier is mute. You go ahead with your talk now. I'm just going to shut it.
Can I just say, one of my favourite features on this is really lame, right? But I can say, what is it? Hang on. Screen switch.
Oh, the double tap on the back and it switches.
Even makes a little sound.
Oh, I thought everyone was adding that sound into their videos. That's actually there.
You ready? Listen to this. Screen switch. screen switch.
Ah, I heard it. That's funny. I use that same effect all the time in my videos.
I don't have a Hero 7 Black, but from testing and playing with this, I love it, and it does everything I would need an action camera to do in terms of scuba diving, in terms of skiing, and paragliding and paramotoring, which I'll be getting this in the next, hopefully the next couple of months, because I paramotor, which is where you strap a big dangerous motor on your back and you run along and take off.
You do that?
Yeah, I love it.
Oh my
God,
that's awesome.
But anyway, the point is, as far as I'm concerned, they are probably on a par, but I would still buy this one instead. The reason is it's different. I'm sick of, I must say, GoPro have burnt me in the past in terms of their interfaces, and I'm sure that the GUI and the usability of it's better on the Hero 7. I don't doubt that at all. But the Hero 4 is just crap. How much better is it from the older GoPro models, the interface on it?
I have a Hero 4 actually right here, and it's night and day different. The interface, everything about it. This camera is, I have a video side by side, and it's sat here. I haven't even turned it on in like a year, or since this came out. It's just sat here as a paperweight.
So that's a good point. Whilst you're holding that up now, the GoPro 7, that's the reason I would buy the Osmo Action, because of that full color front display and the 100 megabits per second 4K rather than 78 megabits per second.
So another thing that you don't see a lot of people talking about, and for me, a lot of people do have decent experiences with DJI customer support. I've dealt with DJI customer support a lot. That's actually one of the things that started my channel. I've also dealt with GoPro's customer support a few times. GoPro has always been easy to respond to and very helpful. DJI has usually been someone that I can't understand and has no clue what they're talking about, reading off of a screen, making me sit for 2 hours because I know more about the product already than they know. Until finally, you make a video because you're so damn pissed off because nobody's helping you out that someone higher up sees it, and then finally they take care of what they should have done at the very beginning. So that would suck for me if you had an issue with that one and you had to deal with DJI. So again, I'd probably recommend, if you are buying one, buy one off of Amazon. Easy to return that way.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, I ran a poll the other day on my YouTube community tab, and I said, if you've had an experience with DJI support, how was it? And I had, I think, very good, good, average, poor, very poor. If you look at the results on that, I don't know if you can find it and share it. It was recently on my YouTube community tab. Actually, the result from memory was overwhelmingly positive. And that's my experience with DJI support. What you will find is that people always want to complain. You'll rarely read in forums about the positive experiences. And so, you know, we're members of DJI groups. All of us are members of DJI groups. And generally, you'll only ever see the problems that people are having with support. You'll never see anybody posting saying, I just had a great experience with DJI support.
For the most part, I would agree with you. I think that is human nature to complain when things go wrong. There are people like myself who will also stand up and say they had a great experience. For example, when I did speak with head of customer support in China, she had the cutest little accent, by the way. But when she did contact me, it was brilliant. It's the way it should have been from the beginning, and I've made videos to showcase that as well. Hell, there's an interview video, I think Henrik's probably seen it, where I actually took hundreds and hundreds of comments from the subscribers on my channel and viewers, and I brought those to customer support, and they wanted to take those in and possibly work on those. Now, have they worked on those? I don't know, because I haven't had to really deal with customer support since then. Sometimes I hear good positive feedback that they have actually made progress and changed some of the things about their customer support from that video. And if I had to take one for the team to make something do better, then so be it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it also depends on the area, the region you're in as well. I mean,
I agree with that.
The customer service varies depending on where you are in the world. And I mean, Henrik, you'll understand this being in Scandinavia. Scandinavians don't like to complain about things. But if you do complain about things, they take it very, very personally to heart. With restaurants, and we've been in shops where we've had to complain, and they're like, "Oh wow, you're complaining? Oh, this must be seriously." Whereas in America,
there's a lot of differences there.
So I guess in America you've got a much bigger population, and maybe the customer service is dealt with differently. I don't know.
I would
You've
say
got a
from
lot
a
of
personal point of
loudmouths
view,
in
I had a
America.
lot of issues with my Mavic Pro, with the gimbal and all that stuff, and I think they handle it maybe not perfect, but I had to swap it a few times before I got to a decent result. But they took care of it and in a good way. Once the process was initialized, everything was running very smooth with the pickup of the drone, repairing and returning it. So.
In theory, their setup, DJI that is, should work well. The problem is you get somebody who doesn't understand and they're reading from a screen. And that goes not only with DJI, that's with any company when it's somebody that doesn't really know the product and they're reading from a screen. Because if you bring something up to them, they've got to flip to the right page or go to the right screen and try to figure it out themselves. I think they're too big to actually hire. This is something, whenever I first had issues with the Mavic Pro, it's something that the guy told me, and I don't remember which company I was talking about, another company at the time. I think it was Autel, when Autel had the X-Star. And the guy mentioned, we have tons of returns, tons of problems with DJI support. It was the head of support in California I got to know on a first-name basis a long time ago. And he said, but we sell millions of drones. So yeah, Autel might have a better customer support experience, but they're selling hundreds of drones instead. So obviously it's a lot easier when you sell less and you have less out there to take care of it. You're going to hear more whenever there's more product out there. Even if it's 10%, let's say 2% for each product, you're going to get a lot more people when you're selling millions than when you're selling thousands.
Exactly. And also remember that companies like Unique and Autel they have sort of dedicated smaller departments that can be much more intimate with their operation, whereas DJI drones is their business. That's well, I would say it is all they do, but it's not anymore, is it? But it's primarily what they do, and so it's every day for them. Whereas Autel, Unique, the smaller companies have more of an objective to retain the customers, I think, because their business is so precious to them. Whereas the bigger companies, just like any bigger, you go to the small corner shop and you'll probably get better service from, if it's a cafe or whatever, than you will if you go to a chain restaurant or a retail restaurant.
I definitely agree with that. Mom and pop business will usually give you better customer support than a chain or a retail, big, large company.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Nope, wrong one. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to the right screen. There we go. So I'm still learning software, people. So hopefully it's overall working.
I made there's a few questions in the chat.
Yeah, there was one that Publiedios, I might be pronouncing that wrong. Right there, yeah. So I've done live video from my GoPro 7. I've been at the ski resort and turned on live to GoPro, typed it in just like we used for OBS, and streamed straight from the camera. Is that something you can do with the Osmo Action? Straight from the camera, not using the app?
Not yet, no, unfortunately. I can see that being a firmware update, but then you can't do it from the Osmo Pocket, straight from the Osmo Pocket at the moment, especially because it hasn't got Wi-Fi. But even with the base adapter connected to it, no. So I'm hoping it's a firmware update for this.
So is there Wi-Fi in the Action?
There is, yeah. So it's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but there's no native streaming from it at the moment.
Okay.
But I think it will come. I think it's something it's a software enhancement. It's not something that the device itself needs to change to enable.
So that's at least one good thing to say about DJI. They never leave a product just as is. They always come with good upgrades later. Some would argue that they should have been in there from the start, but it's also very nice to get these updates.
I don't get these people that complain about these products, and they refer back to the Osmo Pocket not being ready for launch. Well, nobody's forcing anybody to buy anything. The fact is, I'm glad that we can see this now rather than having to wait 12 months for it, because this is called agile development. It's releasing something that physically is ready, but it's going to need a few iterations of the software update.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we get that, because otherwise we wouldn't see this for a year. And you know what? Many manufacturers of software and hardware products scrap a product because they've had to keep it held back for so long that by that point that it's actually released, it's out of date. And I'm glad that didn't happen with the Pocket, because I love my little Osmo Pocket, and I don't bring my SLR anywhere anymore. I shot all of my review videos for the presenting parts of the review videos for this, where I had to have it in my hand. I shot all of those with the Osmo Pocket, and you wouldn't necessarily know it. You might think it was an SLR that I shot those with.
It's funny you say that, because mine has been collecting dust lately too. Since actually it was the GoPro 7 that made it start collecting dust, and now the Pocket is, as I get to know it a little bit better, I think will jump into my arsenal. Even though it sort of wasn't my top camera in my shootout, it's not a bad camera. Yeah. I think it's a great camera for the average person to use that's not doing action. A lot of people are trying to say this is a lot more stable because it is a 3-axis gimbal. Let me take it out. And in some situations, I would agree with that. But overall, in my particular use, I would completely disagree. My GoPro 7 actually is more stable through the stuff that I do. Snowboarding, this thing isn't even close to as stable. Even with walking, sometimes this isn't as stable. You have to sort of do a ninja walk, which I'm not really a fan of myself. But I don't like to in my last video, I have a little funny clip of a little ninja guy doing his little thing. But it's it's a good camera. I just think overall that this one is a point and shoot, and that's where I almost think that this Osmo Action should have been marketed to a point and shoot crowd. Yeah, it can do action too, but if they sold it as a vlogging style / just point and shoot camera that's infinite focus and easy to use, that's a big market.
But they have the point and shoot camera in the Osmo Pocket, because that's exactly what it is. It starts up in seconds and you can film in seconds. Whereas for me, this is the camera that I stick in my bag and I don't care about. It's an action camera. The Osmo Pocket I treat like my drones. I know it's going to be slightly fragile, and so I'm really careful with it. Whereas this is my scuba diving, skiing, paragliding, paramotoring camera. I can throw this thing, and I dropped it a few times during the review. I attached a 4 meter length of string to it and dropped it in the Norwegian Sea. I wouldn't have done that with my Pocket, even if they said it was waterproof.
I do wish that they sent me one, because I'd take them both film and throw them in the sky and see which one kept filming when it hit the ground.
You know what, Sean? I was filming one of the videos yesterday about the 20% off the Osmo Action, and I actually thought, wouldn't it be an interesting video? One of the scenes, I don't know if you saw at the end of that video, the 20% off video, I just put a load of raw shots in. And one of those scenes is a little pond. I just thought, wouldn't it be a great video to start recording and just throw it into the pond? But then I thought, I'm not going in there to get it back out.
So, Henrik,
but the feel, you'll be. I don't know about the Hero 7. I've felt one in a shop.
Very solid.
This feels very similar. Very well made, very durable, and nice quality.
That's exactly my point about this being a point and shoot camera, as well as that. That one mainly because it has a screen. Is the average guy is just gonna throw it around and throw it in a backpack and not care about it, and if it can handle all that and be just a vacationing kind of point and shoot camera that can get wet, that you can drop in a fountain when you're at Disneyland and pick it back up and keep recording your kids after the microphones dry out, of course. That's where I think cameras are going to go. I don't think we're going to continue seeing the masses of people using higher end, more hard to use cameras with moving parts. I really believe eventually the way that DJI is going and the way GoPro is going is going to overtake so many things for the average consumer.
I think it depends, because it depends on the use case. What are you going to do with that footage? Too many of us these days are thinking more about how good will this look for other people. And that includes me. when I'm shooting reviews and stuff like that, I'm shooting content for the channel. I'm thinking about which camera should I shoot it with. Is this for my SLR? Is it for the Pocket, or is it now for the Action? And different types of shot need a different type of camera. And between those three, I've got a Canon 80D, I've got the Osmo Action, and the Pocket. They all produce completely different end results. I won't get any blur in this. It's got no aperture, whereas I will with my SLR and my Pocket. The SLR is heavy. The Pocket's not. The Pocket's quick to just get out and shoot. And it's got a gimbal. My SLR doesn't. So they're all very different. I love having all three, but I know what you mean.
Keep in mind,
it's a tricky one.
You, Henrik, and myself, we're not the average consumer. Not even close.
Good point.
And the average consumer is, or at least in America, is just somebody who doesn't take care of their things. The guys who take care of their things, they're not the average guy. They're really not.
True. Bear me 1 sec. I'm just going to try and turn the outdoor light on here. I'm sat outdoors. Can you believe that? That's my commitment to this.
So, Henrik, let me ask you real quick. I'm going to make you big here so you can answer. What do you think? You having a GoPro 7, have you seen enough and talked enough about this that it would make you get rid of your GoPro 7 and switch it for the Osmo as a consumer, not as for reviews or anything like that?
Not right off the bat, but of course I'm intrigued not by the front-facing camera screen like you showed there. I don't think I'd care much about that one, but the 100 megabit footage, that might be interesting to see what the extra information that we can get out of that and how much better the footage looks like. It'd be nice to do a head-to-head comparison against the GoPro to see that.
Well, Henrik, get in your car now, drive over the Øresund Bridge from Denmark to Sweden, and you can play with this.
Yeah, you said that.
That sounds like a good invite. Henrik, bring your GoPro 7 and go meet up.
Yeah. I might take you up on that one next week.
I'm not exaggerating with this front screen. The Osmo Pocket screen is lovely, but it is tiny. But this front screen, for me, when I was filming that review, that was the first thing that I thought, this is really nice. That screen, if you're vlogging, is lovely. So, plus, also, remember, the Osmo V is very small on the Osmo Pocket. It's not on this, so vlogging is much easier.
Is the front screen?
I understand that part, but when I'm riding around on my wheel and all that stuff, the thing that I really love with the GoPro is that I can just turn around, look at it, and I know I will be in focus and in frame.
Yeah, the front screen.
I don't need the screen to position myself.
I agree. The front screen for action use is just a novelty. It's never going to be used for doing any action stuff.
That's true.
Like, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about someone on a BMX bike or motocross bike, if they were riding and trying to look at the front screen and eating crap, up in the air doing a trick, and next thing you know, they're on the ground because like, oh yeah, look at me, we don't do that. When I'm snowboarding, I don't want to look at the screen, and that's another thing that I do even with my DSLR. I have the Canon T7i, and with the folding screen, I catch myself constantly, and I'm doing it now. I'm looking at my screen instead of the camera. That is something that human nature does. We check to make sure we're focused right. If we can see ourselves, that's what we do, or at least most of us. However, with the GoPro, you're not looking at the numbers on this. You find yourself actually staring at the lens directly. So
after you check that it's definitely recording.
Well, there's a little red light that blinks for that.
Yeah, true.
But
that's a good point, actually. I mean, my use case for this is sticking it on my head for skiing and for paragliding.
And how often are you looking at
that
either
purpose,
screen?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The front screen is just there to keep the vloggers happy, but it is a lovely front screen.
It's not a bad thing. It doesn't hurt. And since they didn't raise the price due to that, it's not a negative. Yeah. If they had raised the price by $100 because of that screen, it would be a huge negative, in my opinion, for an action crowd especially.
I agree.
Do you have an idea about how long can you record on a single charge?
I think it's 70-something minutes, isn't it?
So I charged it up fully, and I'd set the mode to, I think I put it in reviews as a subtitle, but I charged it fully, set it to 1080p, 30 frames a second, and it recorded for just over 2 hours, constant recording at 1080p.
It has
That's
a
nice.
longer battery than the GoPro does. It's a bigger battery than the GoPro has.
It's slightly bigger capacity, yeah, but also the screen does have an auto turn off as well. So the screen on the back will turn off automatically after a while
The GoPro
when it's
7
recording
will do
as well.
that as well. Something I found that was interesting is I've called it a clone. I've joked around that it's a clone. I mean, it technically is, but it's not just a clone for the camera and looks. It's a clone for the advertising because they are using some of the very similar images for advertising, but they're using the GoPro mount. I mean, they are using GoPro's mount. Let me say that a third time. They are using the GoPro's mount.
But Sean, everybody is doing that.
Yeah,
Everybody is doing that, and it makes perfectly sense because all the mounting gear from GoPro is so cheap.
Yeah, but that's this GoPro, and this is something I haven't mentioned, and I've been meaning to say this. I've forgotten. GoPro is so huge in the eyes and the minds of the action consumer. I mean, they have people that are plugging GoPro on the side of balloons that are going up into outer space, where people jump off of a balloon and then fall and parachute back to Earth, blasting GoPro the whole time. People on motocross doing the most insane things, monster trucks, anything insane. Planes, racing planes going through courses with GoPro on the side. DJI would have to spend billions to get that kind of advertising and that kind of market share in someone's mind.
And the other key thing as well is, remember, you spend $300-400 on a good skiing or snowboarding helmet. Those GoPro mounts you've attached onto that helmet ain't coming off. So by using the same fitment, they've all immediately made themselves compatible. I was surprised when I saw it, but I must say I love the rotational mount that comes with the Osmo Action, and all of the accessories in my review. When I got the most recent what's in the box list on the website, it does include everything you saw there, except for the ND filters. Mm-hmm. But yes, it includes a rotational mount as well.
No, I mean, I understand why they did it. I just find it humorous.
I know what you mean. It's hilarious. Yeah, absolutely. It's like buying a Ford, or I suppose you don't have these in America, but let's look at I'm trying to think of two comparable brands, Henry, over there. I was going to say Ford or Opel, and you can interchange something between them. It's a little bit like that. Two very, very equal competitors
they're
with interchangeable accessories.
Becoming like the Ford and Chevy battle that's over here in America, where both are good quality. I mean, it is good quality. At least it's not a clone that's crap like a lot of these $49 cameras that you see, these knockoffs. So they have put their time, money, and research into it. So I'm giving them credit for that. In no way would I stop anyone from ever buying this. If they wanted to buy it by all means. It looks like a great camera. Yeah. One thing that I do find funny is in the talk mode, and you can verify this. You don't actually say Osmo Action stop recording or film. You just say it. And that's cool. But with DJI, or not DJI, I'm sorry, with this one, I think you actually say GoPro first, and you can do all the voice commands. I actually turned that off on mine, but I could see that being an issue. Somebody could just walk by, or somebody say something that it thinks is something that it's not, and it could maybe stop recording on you because you didn't have to say the name of the camera first. I think.
So if I say start recording, have I got enabled? Hang on. I'm on photo mode, that's why.
I'm curious if it will pick up my voice on screen and switch.
Can't hear you because I've got this ear piece in.
Gotcha. Take it off
start recording. Start recording. Yes, you don't need to say GoPro Action or anything like that. Stop recording. Stop recording.
Nice.
It works from a long way away as well. I don't know if you saw in the review, but I was surprised at how far away, with the wind blowing in Norway as well, it actually works, and listened to me and did it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what, another good thing about this camera coming out is that it puts pressure on GoPro. And GoPro remind me of Apple in that they are relying on their name and their reputation and their past success to carry them forward. Those times are long gone. And I think that it's about time GoPro had some competition that's going to make them start to really, really innovate. Because yes, the Hero 7 is better than the Hero 4, but as a consumer, I wasn't desperate to buy a Hero 7. I wanted one. I was going to buy one because it was all there was. But now there's something else. I would buy this instead if I didn't have it.
See,
because it's different.
I agree and disagree at the same time on that, because I do think their Hero 7 is a huge, huge step up from their 4. Huge. And it's a big step up from their 5 and 6. I never got the 5 or 6 because I didn't see it as a big enough step up to anything. But when I saw the 7 and the capabilities that this thing has, instantly I had to buy one. So
I had the 5. I had the Hero 5. That was not a very good camera, actually.
The color profile. This is something you don't see. You see a lot of people not talking about, and we briefly talked about this earlier because there's one video I saw where I swear the guy edited it in post-production. But if you look at like 11 minutes in on iPhone's video, the dynamic range and color on this, I guess smoking is a little bit embellishing it. It is nicer looking than the Osmo Action non-edited version. And most of the videos I'm seeing during the day, the color profile, the dynamic range in the GoPro is actually a nicer look. It's not bad, especially in low light. I do think that there is more detail in a lot of the shots on the Osmo Action than the GoPro, but the profile and dynamic range seems to be slightly better. So they both seem to have things that they're excelling at. There's not a clear winner in this at all.
Although, remember, the reason the GoPro Hero 7 then is leaps forward is because it had to be. Do you remember after the Karma failed miserably?
Yes,
GoPro were desperately, they were about to disappear and die. The other thing to remember, something I haven't mentioned as well, that this has this HDR video, which I know the Hero 7 has, but you can only record 30 seconds maximum or something like that. Is that right?
With the Hero 7? I never use it, so I can't say I'm that familiar with it. There is a small 30-second thing that you can make a short video for Instagram. It has these presets where you can make a video for Facebook, a video for Instagram already without having to edit it later. It's meant for the digital world. That's something that the GoPro did include.
Right. I mean, now if I'm on HDR video mode now, and if I switch to normal video, I mean it's getting pretty dark here, so it's not an ideal test really, but in the review I've put the comparison between the two, and it really is a hell of a difference in HDR video. In the daytime you see so much more contrast, and the dynamic range is really good. The only downside of HDR video is that EIS is not supported when you're in HDR video mode. It does still shoot at 4K, but you'd have to stabilize it in post-production. But the reality is anybody shooting HDR video, they're likely to be the sort of person that is going to be sticking that footage into Premiere and using appropriate LUTs and applying stabilization.
It's definitely another thing. I mean, there's little things that are great. Like I said, there's certain things the GoPro has, certain things that the new Action seems to have. And I don't think one is a clear winner. I really don't. And I had hoped that there would be today a clear winner, and I don't think there is. I think it's going to come down to personal preference and if you really want that front screen or not.
Yeah, so I mean, in a summary, the Osmo Action is naturally 1 meter deeper waterproofing. It shoots 100 megabits per second video. The GoPro shoots 78 megabits per second. The GoPro has GPS. The Osmo Action doesn't, but that's not going to be a feature that everybody uses. The Osmo Action has a color front screen. The GoPro Hero doesn't.
See, I've also seen that the GoPro works better with vibration than the Osmo. I've seen videos already where you can see more vibration, like in cars. iPhone's video shows that he's filming and he's talking how great it is, and it's sitting there vibrating. I'm like, what? There's a couple other videos that show it having screen lag. Now, I don't know if everybody has that, but that also reminds me of my old drones that were Wi-Fi. They had a lag. My hand didn't move at the same time as what I was looking at. I don't know if yours does that. I'm interested if it does.
Say that again.
So a lot of them, I've seen a couple of videos where there's a lag. I think iJustine shows it the best, where she moves her hand or moves, and the screen moves seconds later. Where like on the most cameras, when you move, it moves at the same exact second. instead of having that couple milliseconds lag.
Let's see.
I actually saw a lot of videos where it seemed like the
Seems pretty real time.
to me, I mean, it's hard for us to tell on the screen, but it seems like it is not as bad as what it was on hers. So maybe she's got a defective one. Who knows? They definitely, that happens when they send out these early models sometimes. The audio to me seemed like it was pretty comparable. Might be slightly better in the GoPro, but not enough to make it a point worth your purchase.
Just on that. Sorry, just on that one, Sean. The audio on the Action is definitely better than the Osmo Pocket. I have to say that, actually.
I'm not a real fan of the audio on this. It's a little tinny to me, but I do actually like the audio on my GoPro 7 90% of the time.
Actually, yeah, and the GoPro Hero 7 has an extra microphone. The GoPro Hero 7's got 3, the Action's got 2. Okay. But whether that makes a real world big difference, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's a good point.
I do see, like I said, I've from the videos I've seen, they don't do a lot of side by side. So if you guys get together, film the exact same thing that you're talking.
Yeah,
and
love to do that.
Switch the audio while the video is next to each other, because people are doing one camera and then doing the next and then doing the next, which is not the same as having both videos up and only switching the audio between them.
So this is interesting as well, actually. There was a lot of talk about, originally when the Pocket came out, a lot of talk about Osmo Action versus Osmo Pocket. Almost every single clip that I filmed for my review of the Osmo Action in Norway, I had the Osmo Pocket next to it. So I've got a video coming out, probably, it's going to take me a week or so to edit it all together, but just to show a comparison between EIS and mechanical stabilization, that will be one of my next videos that shows the Pocket and the
would be interesting.
Action. Yeah, and I mean, the one key thing as well, actually, the big difference is that the Pocket can stabilize the roll axis, which neither the Action or the Hero 7 can do. So if you are skiing, you don't often want the roll axis.
No, you don't always. That's why my buddy who does a snowboarding channel, and he basically uses the gimbal that GoPro makes. I'm having a brain moment. The Karma grip.
The grip.
So he uses that to keep that level on 90% of his videos. Eventually, I do think, because of the way 360 cameras are, that these are going to end up having that within them already. We're going to end up getting stabilization that you can turn it on or off, and it's going to lock in that horizon. I firmly believe within 5 years or less, we're going to be seeing that.
Yeah, I think the only downside of a 360 camera is the mounting option. You'd have to have the rear up and down exposed, and quite often you'd have to have the camera on your helmet. But that wouldn't be an issue mainly, because that's where I stick mine when I'm skiing anyway. So
I actually use my 360 on a pole. I don't ever put it on the helmet. I don't like the look of it on the helmet. I like having it on a pole while I snowboard so that I can put it at different heights. It took a little while to learn how to film with it, because you're so used to pointing it at something that you're not doing that at all with a 360 camera. You're just adjusting the height of where you want it to look at that subject matter from. And
but Sean, the difference is you can walk out of your house and ski. I ski once a year, and I look like a blind man with a blind man's pole when I'm skiing. If I had to ski holding a selfie stick,
it's probably better you don't hold a pole and you just concentrate on what you're doing then, right?
Well, I actually took my Osmo Pocket skiing with me in January, and I've got that video to edit that I still haven't done. But actually, the funniest scene is me trying to ski holding the Osmo Pocket like a selfie and falling over.
Oh, that's
so I look
hilarious.
forward to that.
I still have about 5 snowboarding videos from this season that I got to edit and mix into the channel. It's just time consuming to edit the ones that don't get the views. But they're fun. There's one thing that I do YouTube too, and those kind of videos for, is 20 years from now, it's the videos I look back on. I'm not going to give 2 craps about a video comparing this and the DJI, but I am going to give all kinds of craps about these videos where we're out snowboarding and the family and friends are there, and maybe I do a little bit of talking about a camera like this in it, but it's more showing us do activities while using these cameras. And those are the videos I'm going to watch again 20 years from now when I'm much older.
You're absolutely right. And sometimes I wish I was doing this full time so that I could invest in getting this product and thinking, right, let's book a flight somewhere nice and, go and spend a whole week, really playing with it and, showing it in action. But the reality is we've all got lives and careers and jobs, and it's hard trying to do all of this and commit to, I was on a project in Norway, a customer project, working long days. And when the day's finished, I was straight out of that hotel room down filming the review for the Osmo Action. So people think it's fun and people think it's great getting these products early. But in all honesty, it's hard work, because then you've got to edit all of those hours of footage back together. And also you're telling a story, you're telling a story to the viewer, and you could mix that footage together and it could be completely confusing and disjointed. But yeah, you're right, Sean. Focus on, and you and I have had these discussions, before in the last week, really, about film and create content that you want to create. If you're creating it for somebody else and for their benefit, not your own, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
I agree. And have you? I don't know if you. Sorry, I'm going through the wrong. I'm in the wrong windows here. There we go. So,
love OBS.
Still learning the software. Still learning software. I'm trying to mix up the pictures so that the viewers get something besides our ugly faces through this whole 2-hour video here. What was I going to say? Okay, so you have an NDA when you work with DJI on something like this. You can't talk about it at all. So you have it since March. You're filming. You're doing all this work. You're learning about the product. You're putting 2 and 2 together. You're getting hands-on experience with it. You're making the video after you've had some hands-on time with it. But do they tell you what happens if you don't actually get the video out in time? What happens if they send it to you and you don't make the video, or you make it 3 months later?
So I started my channel just with drone reviews, product reviews, and I work, I buy tons of product, literally, review it, put the video out there, and it was all under my control in my own time, and it was, fun and exciting. Then the retailers that I was working with, so Banggood, GearBest, TomTop, HobbyWow, all started to catch on to the fact that, my reviews were popular, and they started sending me stuff, and they literally just send you stuff. They don't even tell you it's coming. So at the moment at home, I've got a pile of drones and various things that I need to open, unbox, inspect, review. And I get emails from them all the time. Banggood are the most persistent, saying, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? And you start to really feel the pressure. And so actually since the beginning of this year, I've stopped accepting new drones. If they email me and say, do you want this and that, I'll actually now say no, because it just feels like workload. The DJI stuff is brilliant. I feel so lucky to get this. I had the Tello, the Pocket, now this and other things. And you are not just creating a review for launch date. You are beta testing. You are providing feedback. You're reporting bugs. So it's not just producing a review for launch day, but that ultimately that is your goal. And if you don't do it, then the likelihood is you probably never get another product for review again. Okay. So
that answers my question. I didn't know if they had something in the NDA that they signed saying, hey, you have this much time to get it out on time. So that's cool to know. I get the same thing. I have a box behind me with a pile of things that I haven't reviewed yet, and occasionally I get emails from the companies. Some of them, for example, I've got cases and all kinds of there it is. I've got a great case here.
As well.
A few boxes. I've got another box over here.
Oh my god!
I've got these, and I haven't made. Have you seen me do any videos with these?
No way! Send them to me. I'd love a set of those.
I bought these. They didn't send them to me.
Can't get DJI to give me any of those.
They didn't give them to me. I paid for them, and they sit in a box. That's how much I like them.
They're the racing version, aren't they? The second version as well.
Yeah, they are. I'm probably going to sell them because I never use them.
Send them to me.
Give me some money and I will.
You just got a $50 super chat.
No, that was from earlier. That's lag. It won't update.
Oh, okay.
I wish I could have done that. That would be great. Where's the video with all of us on here? Is that nope? That's the. Hey, look, the chat window is working on that one. Wait, that one's all the chat windows are lagged.
That's good.
Hold on, I'm finding.
But the other thing is, you get these products for review. You spend a week unboxing, inspecting, setting up, fixing issues, filming it, editing it, publishing it, and then it gets 200 views. So nowadays, I just stick to topical videos. I've changed my content a lot, and I think it works because it gets more interest. I can know. I tell you what, with my Osmo Pocket, I can go out and shoot a video that takes me an hour to shoot, an hour to edit, and it's online that afternoon. I couldn't do that with a review of a product.
No, that's true.
Right, no, definitely. Like
I've chosen the same way. I'm also not accepting Banggood and all these Chinese companies. They're sending me like a $40 drone or a $50 drone, expecting me to spend 10 hours to create a video about it.
Exactly.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. It's not worth it.
What I did to stop some of that, and some people might still do it occasionally. If they do, that's fine. They send you the product, and then you send them a bill for $500 on top of it. That'll solve the problem right there. You know? They'll either pay up, and if they pay up, hey, I'll make the time for that.
I have actually tried that. I have tried asking them if they work for free, and they don't understand what it is that I'm saying.
Well, they don't understand. I mean,
I gotta spend 10 hours on this project. I gotta have at least $100 an hour. I'll make the video for $500. Bargain of the day.
I think people don't realise the time and effort spent on producing these reviews.
This is a fun.
No, and we can all testify that it requires a lot of practice to do them and skills to get it to a certain skill level.
Yeah, and to get your workflow efficient as well. I mean, I feel like I'm in a really good workflow state at the moment where I've got everything ready and templated and all of my effects and intros and all of that, but it's still a hell of a lot of work.
It really is. For myself, I try to do creative, artistic-y kind of edits too. And I don't know if you guys do those kind ever, but that adds so much extra time onto your editing.
Yeah, it does. Your edits actually, Sean, are really good as well. You cut scene a lot, and you've got loads of different feeds. And I imagine I'm often surprised when I see a new video from you so soon after the last, because your cuts are really complex as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But you know, I do art for a living. I'm a tattoo artist. I'm in a tattoo studio in the back room right now. So it wouldn't be fun for me to just sit down and make a normal video. I mean, it would be easier, it would be faster, and occasionally I do it, but if I do it too often, that's where I get the burnout.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Guys, I need to step out of this now.
I do think it's about time to start wrapping this up. I give you 250 cents. Oh, come on, Mars FPV. You should have said 350, referring to the South Park thing. I don't know if anyone watches South Park, but 350. The last monster wanted 350. So I appreciate. Let's wrap this up, guys. I think it is actually my shop is supposed to be open. It's 15 minutes past opening, anyways. So it's probably good that we wrap this up and I start opening, turn on the open sign up the business. I really appreciate both you coming on, Henrik. It's always a pleasure as we work these bugs out. I really would love to do this more regularly. Ash, thank you so much for coming on and sharing hands-on experience with the Osmo Action. I'm sure everyone who sees this live as well who watches it in the replay should hopefully learn a lot. In my opinion, they're both great cameras. If you're out there looking for a new camera and you don't have one or the other, look at them both. See which one actually fits your needs. If one entices you on looks alone, screw it. Get that one. They're both good. You're not going to go wrong with either one.
Yeah. And I'd tell you, just another tip on that, go to a store, touch them, feel them, look at them both. Yeah, because
they're going to be, out here in America, they're going to be at Best Buy. There are already GoPros everywhere. And the Osmo Action is going to be at Best Buy and some of the other main retail stores soon, if not already. So you'll be able to compare it. The GoPro, if you're by any kind of bicycle shop, skateboard shop, snowboard ski shop, they're already in there. So you can get your hands on one of those pretty easily to check out. And you can't always get them out of the casing. The GoPro, at least, the case, you can't really feel it. But occasionally, if you ask, they'll have one behind the scenes that they can break out for you. You can hold, and you can at least feel what it feels like.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, guys,
Makes sense.
Again, thanks for, you in the comments. Well, I've said thanks to you guys, but you in the comments, you are the ones we do this for. You are the ones that we like to communicate with. We do it because we love to do it, but at the same time, we love trying to help others not waste their money on things that they don't need to waste their money on. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'm going to go back and add links to both of their channels in the comments. I'll pin it to the top as soon as I get it done, so you guys can follow that easily over to their channels. And I don't know what else to say. I guess we could roll the same intro that we came in with to leave with. So, you guys have anything else you want to add to this?
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. No, I genuinely appreciate it. And I tell you what, it's lovely to see people in the chat that I recognise their names. And that's the thing about this YouTube community world. It's a small world. So thank you guys for following us around, and keep watching. And we'll be doing this again. Deal?
Excellent.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Now we have the setup.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And we'll
Maybe next time on my channel, because I want to do my first stream on Streamlabs and
sure.
see if it goes
I'm down.
all right or not.
You send me an invite, I'll be there. All right, guys,
Deal.
and here is the intro. Wait, that's not it. That.
Oh, yeah.
Powder face shots for days. And that's down the road from my house. I'm going to just sort of talk as this ends. And this is the name of my channel. That is the link right by the top. There's more snowboarding. That's 5 minutes from the house. That's a giant snow fort. That hurt. There's my tattoo video, guys. And more snow. That's my dog who passed away. Out of Austin, Texas, not here. And more snow. And some beautiful sailing right down the road. And that's it. We're actually not started, so we'll be right back next time. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time.